Tom, it looks fantastic for Nancy Honeyball. That good bumper winner at Newbury recently. She was a good bumper winner herself, so a listed winner at Kempton.
Yeah, she was, and I think that was the third of her bumper wins. I think she won 3. She won one at Taunton. She won that one at Kempton, the listed one. She won another, I'm sure. But she hasn't had many goes on the flat, and it was her handicap debut at Nottingham last time out, and off a mark of 71, she was a 4-length winner. So you would think that she's got a fair chance on these terms. You know that she's a very strong stayer, and you know that she handles the ground very well. And I thought physically, Niall, she looked as though she'd taken that race pretty well at Nottingham. So the quickish turnaround, not really a concern. And she's not turned around quite as quick as this, I don't think, over jumps, but she's had backup runs relatively quickly. So again, she's sort of battle-hardened in that sense.
Flint Hill struggling maybe on the ground, but likes the track. I was speaking to trainer Ruth Jefferson earlier, and she was saying, unfortunately, Sound Russian, who brought down in the Gold Cup, suffered a knee injury, and he's just undergone surgery, so he'd be out of action for about 6 months. So it's such a fine season, and still in the hunt when brought down the Cheltenham Gold Cup. But yeah, he's out of action for at least 6 months. Flint Hill, the ground is a worry, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think he's got some form on easy-ish ground, but nothing quite as deep as this. And he's the kind of horse that you just think might be better on better ground anyway. So I think that is a slight concern for him. At least he's got a run behind him at Newcastle, behind Flerman, who went on and ran very well on finals day the other week.
Military Two-Step was the one we didn't see her in the paddock. We missed her. Been a good old servant for the Hurst family, Dougie Livingston and Charlie Johnson.
Yeah, and again, she's a pretty strong stayer. She's won over 2 mile 1 at Carlisle, so you have stamina to win that kind of race. Got easy ground form as well. Just doesn't have loads in Handbury Mark, I don't think, and wasn't at her best last time out. Champagne City, one of a few possibles for the lead. I thought Gadbarn might run okay. Ran well in his reappearance last year. Might not have as much in hand as maybe something like the favourite Kekelico, but I wouldn't be amazed to see him run a nice enough race.
Okay, it's round 1 of the Pontefract Stairs, the Jamaican Flight handicap over 2.25 mile as we head back up to John and get the call.
Thanks, Niall. Yeah, plenty of memories of Jamaican Flight being the, well, it's a cliche, but he was a standing dish around here. Last couple to go forward. Military Two-Step is in. They're ready. Gates back and away they go. The Navigator was just on his hocks as the gates went back. Detective could have been quicker as well. In the Jamaican Flight Handicap Stakes, round 1 of the Pontefract Stayers Championship for 2023. And Champagne City grabs the early initiative and leads in the light-coloured jacket, followed then by Land of Winter, the blue cap sitting in second. Flint Hill up the inside from the inside draw. This horse has won 3 from 9 at Pontefract, been placed on a further 3 occasions as well. Then Cocalico, the short price favourite, racing in a share of 4th with Gadban, who won the best turned out in the parade ring beforehand. Then the other grey, or the first grey, Military Two-Step, followed by Detective, who was a little bit slow, and the Navigator, who was also tardy away from the gators at the back of the field. So they're making the first of quite a few turns here at Pontefract round this really galloping test. And it's Champagne City in the hands of Theodore Ladd that leads to Land of Winter round the outside. Flint Hill and Graham Lees had a lovely run round up the inside there, got into a good position. Gadbarn is racing in 4th, the yellow and pink colours. Then Cocalico in the headgear, racing in 5th, followed then by Detective, Military Two-Step, the first of the greys, and the Navigator is right at the back of the field. Heading on down towards the final mile and a half or so. And as they do so, it's Champagne City who continues to lead to Land of Winter, who's racing on the outside in 2nd. Flint Hill is still in 3rd there in the yellow colours, followed then by Gadbarn. Then in 5th spot, right up the inside rail, Detective and Paul Mulrennan, followed then by Cocalico. Andrea Razzani aboard, trying to follow up that Nottingham success. Then Military Two-Step, last but one, and the Navigator is still at the rear of the field, making their way to the point of the track, which is just about furthest from the grandstand. And it's Champagne City, who's been out in front since flagfall. To Land of Winter, who races in 2nd. Flint Hill, the sheepskin noseband up the rail in 3rd. Followed then in 4th position by Gadban. Then after that up the inner Detective, and then Cocalico, who's poised there and around about 6th at the moment. Then followed by Military Two-Step, and the Navigator is still at the rear of the field in the Jamaican Flight Handicap, the horse who was so popular here at Pontefract. They had a race named after him. And it's Champagne City who continues to lead that race. To Land of Winter in second. Flint Hill, who's got a Jamaican flight style record here at Ponty, races in third. Then Gadbarn towards the outside, who's just crept a little bit closer. Detective's just gone back a little bit through the field. Cockalico towards the outside still travels well as they make a further turn here and head on inside the final mile. They're then followed towards the rear of the field by Military Two-Step, and the Navigator is still at the back. So they'll be turning very shortly and heading on towards the final 7 furlongs or so. And it's Champagne City who's led the field throughout, to Land of Winter, who's always been on the shoulder, followed then at the inside by Flint Hill in the yellow and black colours, the pale jacket of Gadbarn, racing just about stride for stride with that one now. They're then followed on the outside by Cockalico, odds on backers still relatively pleased at the moment. Then Detective up the inside, followed then by Military Two-Step, and the Navigator, who got away slowly, is still yet to pass a horse. Down towards the final 5.5 furlongs or so they come, and it's Champagne City out in front, to Land of Winter and David Allen, who's poised in second. Flint Hill has hugged the rail and gone the shortest way throughout. Gadban is in fourth. Cockalico now just exercising at Zany's arms a little bit. They're then followed by Detective, who continues to go back through the field. Then Military Two-Step and the Navigators right at the back. Inside the final 4 furlongs they go. And it's Champagne City. Look to try and string them out here. Land of Winter, the blue cap on the outside in second. Flint Hill is still travelling okay right up the inner. Then Gadban. It's really hard work for Cockalico now, who's brought wide to try and deliver a challenge, but is really puffing out the old cheeks. Starting to make the swing for home. Champagne City the leader. Land of Winter now driven along. Flint Hill is being asked for effort too. Then Gadban. Cockalico is getting closer, but it's hard work. Down towards the turn for home they come. 2 furlongs left to go. And it's Champagne City, who's led since flag 4 and is still out in front to the tune of a couple of lengths. To Flint Hill the far side. Here comes Cockalico now, building the revs down the centre of the track. Final furlong and a half. Champagne City, though, still with a 3 or maybe 4 length advantage, has bossed this race and is clear inside the closing stages. Cockalico now into second, Flint Hill in third, but racing up towards the line. Champagne City, Theodore Ladd, a good performance by horse and rider. Champagne City the winner. Cockalico was second, Gadbarn was third, Flint Hill in fourth.
Champagne City has won for Roger Brookhurst, trained by his son Ben. Theodore Ladd on board. The 10-year-old wins nicely from the favourite in second place, who never really closer, never really threatened to win. The winner returned at 25 to 1. Back in third place was Gadban from Mark Walford and Joanna Mason.
Yeah, a good run on seasonal return from Gadban, but a real return to form from Champagne City. 2 horses that were fit and in form. In the case of Champagne City, he hadn't fired last time out, but his 2 previous starts he'd run okay, including over 2.25 miles at Southwell on the all-weather, and Theodore Ladd kept it simple, and he's just kept on working away and grinding it out, really. The favourite just didn't travel with enough zest, did she? And then she's plugged on late. I think for a long way, Land of Winter looked in fair enough form, but just probably needed the run on his return, and he'll be better for the run. And Flint Hill, again, a nice enough run on ground that is probably soft enough for him. He just flattens out late on and loses third, but he's run okay. I'd be interested in Gadban back on a faster surface with a run behind him in a similar race to this as well.
The winners are like a horse, 10 years of age. He's run I think that's his 12th success. He's been with Mark Johnson, Tom George, Ian Williams. He's done the rounds. So he's a homebred. You might remember the mare City of Angels running in these colours, but to run in all disciplines, hurdles, fences, flats, and to spring up here. And Ben Brookhouse, he's early in his training career, but he's doing well. He's had a good start. Been running a few on the flat, obviously lots of jumpers that he's got, based in Newmarket, and keeping a 10-year-old like this sweet and getting him to bounce back after a disappointing run last time out is a good effort. It's got Saracens Risk in the 4-year-old hurdle at Aintree and Thursday. He had a nice horse win the other week, Blue Top, right? I think. Looks like one who will probably progress. Unexposed horse. Okay, there he is, Champagne City, once again for the 12th time in his career, back in a winner's enclosure.
Yeah, just pushed out the score pretty nicely too. Wasn't to be for Cocalico. There's Theodore Ladd shaking hands. Champagne City has won. 25 to 1 as well, 8 to 15.